I am the fool, and I will recount the story about Donovan Boudreau and his mission to contain the Knox virus before it gets out of control. His mission was simple: enter the military research facility under the cover of air support, locate and retrieve the experimental vial, and evacuate. Little did Donovan and the rest of the local survivors know that the virus had already begun to mutate, increasing the activity of the infected during the night. This is a collection of things Donovan encountered during his mission, before his evacuation. Day 1 at 0900. Donovan Boudreau parachuted nearby the research facility with sirens blasting to warn any local survivors of the impending devastation. On a foggy morning, his vision completely obscured, hiding himself from the walking dead, or hiding the dead from Donovan Boudreau, depending on how you look at it. With such a fog and dense forest, it's hard not to get lost.
At 1200, Donovan Boudreau entered the research facility and found out the hard way that it's already been overrun. He had no choice but to put down every single person, no matter if the cure could save them. For he knew a small number had to be sacrificed for the rest of the world to survive. Thankfully, the fog started to clear up, allowing the air support to deal a heavy blow to the infected. At 1730, after 5 hours of brutal slaughtering and having to find another way into the labs, Donovan Boudreau finally managed to obtain the cure, but it had already gotten too late in the day, and he was forced to camp the night at the facility. His objective now is to hunk down, survive the bombing raid, and wait for daylight, as it'll be too dark and dangerous to traverse the forest in the dark. At 0140, as Donovan Boudreau was witnessing and participating in the mass genocide of walkers at the fence, he'd noticed a car alarm going off. When he went to check it out, he was shocked to find a small horde gathered around a car while on fire. What's worse, is these dead seemed smarter and faster than what he'd been dealing with all day. As soon as one spotted Donovan, the rest came charging after him. Day 2 at 0600, this was Donovan Boudreau's only chance of escaping the facility and making a run through the forest. And by God, he's going to take that chance. There were still a few active sprinters, but that's nothing for Donovan. At 0850, the sirens once again started to sound the deafening tone to warn any survivors in the area. There weren't supposed to be any more air raids. Now, something's happened, and it's got to do something with the sprinters. At 900, a flash of white blinded Donovan Boudreau, and all he could feel was pain all over his body. He'd somehow survived the explosion, but not unscathed. While bandaging himself, Donovan Boudreau continued to fight off the never-ending swarm of the undead. At 0950, Donovan Boudreau began his long and painful run through the forest and began his extraction. At 1420, Donovan Boudreau, exhausted from running through the forest and in an abundance of pain from the explosion figures, he needs to find a safe house to rest up before completing the extraction, as it'll take another day to get to the rendezvous zone in his current condition. Thus, he began a second fight, grouped up all the walkers he could, and started blasting them down. At 1800, with daylight running out and sprinters sure to show up, Donovan Boudreau finds a relatively quiet house to hopefully get some rest and to treat the burns. 1,820 out of frustration, anger, and fatigue, instead of turning off the radio. Donovan Boudreau breaks it with a sledgehammer, alerting some walkers. At 2020, Donovan Boudreau was bitten and now is infected. His mission was a failure, and any hope for humanity now broken. The only thing that can be done is go out with a fight, and that is exactly what Donovan Boudreau did. Sleep deprived, hungry, and in pain, Donovan Boudreau used all his remaining energy to kill every single last one he could before he was gone. 2,100. Donovan Boudreau is no one. If he couldn't stop the apocalypse, then there's no one who could. Perhaps one day a lucky survivor would happen upon Donovan Boudreau once more and find the cure. But until then, despair is all that's left.